Hello everybody, it's the Hyper Hedgehog. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I love Street Fighter. Everything from the characters, to the world, to the lore, to the gameplay. It's really amazing. We're gonna get Street Fighter 6 pretty soon, and it's gonna shake up the formula a lot. We're actually gonna have hub worlds, interesting and unique designs, new characters, and all that stuff. It'll be amazing. The series is very close to my heart, spawning many games that I am a huge fan of, whether it be Street Fighter 2, the Alpha series, 3, 4, 5, I love all those games. You think with a series that is iconic as Street Fighter and a series that I am really enjoying, you'd think that the first game would actually be pretty good. How wrong you would be! It's time to look at Street Fighter 1. Now, to make things clear, no matter how much I roast this game and no matter how much I hate it, I'm glad it exists. Without this game, we wouldn't have one of the best video game series of all time. However, it did not start well, and I'm going to explain every problem I have with it. Starting with the arcade itself. Let's look at the original arcade cabinet. Now, do you notice anything weird? No? Well, let's pull up Street Fighter 2's arcade cabinet. Yes, that is right. This only has 2 buttons. But why does it only have 2 buttons instead of 6? Because the level that your attack will do damage is determined by how hard you push the button. Now, why is that a problem? Well, I think I'll let the history speak for itself. With this poor design choice, the arcade broke regularly, and arcade companies had to fix it a lot. The game doesn't even want you to play it. Now, I'm not going to give them too much flack, as they did realize their mistake and fix it with the traditional 6-button system. However, this does need to be brought up because that was just a stupid idea. Now, I don't actually own the arcade, obviously. So, I will be playing this game on the Nintendo Switch version of the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which also comes with many better games. And I highly recommend it, just not this one. Before we actually review the game, I think in order to emphasize my point, let's actually do a comparison. This is Street Fighter 2. And in this game, you want to do a Hadouken? Just make the move. There you go. The Shoryuken can be the most difficult to learn, but with enough practice, you can get the hang of it. And you can do a consistency just like the Hadouken. And the Hurricane Kick, as I like to call it, you can do that consistently too. And if you want to learn how to do these moves, then just pause the game, go to special moves, and there's the list. And on the original arcade cabinet, there was actually a list on the side that showed you these special moves. Right, this sounds pretty fun. Like, this requires practice, but eventually you'll get pretty good. That's what a fighting game is. Now let's play Street Fighter 1. Alright, this is Street Fighter 1. Now let's try to do a Hadouken. It didn't do anything. Oh, this guy's destroying me. Like, okay, maybe a Shoryuken can work? Oh my gosh, I can't do the moves consistently. I just gotta spin. And there is my biggest problem with Street Fighter 1. The moves are completely inconsistent. I just can't do these whenever I want. I just gotta spam, and that's what I do. See, when I'm playing Street Fighter 2 or any other game, all I gotta do, make thing, there. Here's what I'm doing through most of my playthrough of Street Fighter 1. See, that's not very fun at all. Just, jeez. And you need the special moves in order to beat this game. That's another problem. Because the special moves do so much damage and your opponents take out so much of your health, you need these special moves in order to beat the game. But you can barely activate them. Just. But okay, how was the roster? You just get to play as Ryu. Or Ken if you're the second player, but just Ryu. None of these other characters. Which I guess I shouldn't be too mad because these guys are boring. Part of why I love Street Fighter is the large cast of characters with their own unique and interesting personalities. I'd actually have to say this is one of my favorite casts in video games, period. They also serve as a tribute to the countries around the world, and that's really what Street Fighter feels like, a tribute to the cultures of the world. And while Street Fighter 1 gets that aspect right, what it fails to get at is the interesting characters. Each Street Fighter character has their own distinct, unique personalities, and you don't even have to go to the stories in order to see what they are. You can just look at the winning or losing animations. Chun-Li is my personal favorite, partially because of her winning animations. She'll either do a bow or jump for joy because she's so happy she won. It's really not hard to smile at stuff like that. Does Street Fighter 1 have any details like that?
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
These characters have the same amount of personality as the wooden blocks you punch in the minigames in this game. They just exist to be punched. There's nothing interesting about them. Even the characters who get interesting backstories later in returning games don't get anything. So, you can imagine what happens with the ones that are only in this game. Good luck finding someone whose favorite character is Mike. The last thing I want to cover is the story. Now, nobody expects Street Fighter stories to be amazing. I mean, I still call complete crap on some of the stuff in Shadow Falls. But the stories in these games are always entertaining. When I first got into Street Fighter, I had a realization. Street Fighter is like the MCU. We're told the story through each character's perspectives, and we piece this larger story together. It's fun, it's interesting, it's an overarching plot. What importance does Street Fighter 1 actually add to this overarching story? Nothing! Outside of a few character motivations from Ryu or Sagat, then there's really nothing. And this tournament might as well have never happened. And oh my gosh, Sagat, I forgot. Come on, we're at the end of the game. We can do this. We can do this. The first time I got to the final boss, I got 50 KOs. This boss took me so long to beat. This has to be one of the worst bosses I have ever experienced. Sagat makes the rest of this game look like a cakewalk. He is so hard and ridiculous, and combining that with the luck factor, it's almost impossible to beat him. But eventually, I overcame him. I highly recommend checking out any of the other Street Fighter games, but stay far away from the first one as you can, unless you're extremely curious like I was. It's great that it started this wonderful series, but it has not aged well at all. Now, before I get to my next bad game, which I think is some shovelware M&M's game, I need to get a little bit of revenge.
Oh, hi there, Sagat. How you doing? This is for the first game. You caused me so much pain. You jerk. Just eat it. Eat it. Yeah, you're not so tough now that I can do my moves consistently. Now are you? There you go.
I feel so much better now. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.